Okay, so once again, I didn't really get a chance to watch this game this week. So I'm pretty much stuck to watching highlights. But from what I saw, all right, Philly, I'll bite. Somewhat. I said last week if we won by a good margin, I'd say that this team is special. You know what? They're pretty special. I think at this point we're going to be playoff bound. I think that at the very least that will happen. Super Bowl bound? Let's not get ahead of ourselves, guys. Because remember, this is a town that has had dream teams that have busted. This is a town that, unfortunately, even with the studded all-star cast we had in the early to mid 2000s, couldn't get anything done. I only remain so skeptic because I'm a Philly fan. You Philly diehards should know what I'm talking about when I'm so skeptical. Now, am I excited? Yes, I'm excited. For God's sakes, we're 7-1. This is great. They expected us to win maybe 7, 8 games this year. But this is a totally different team from last year. They completely flipped the script. Now, going into the highlights from last game, I learned a few things. 1, this is still a good defense. 2, this definitely feels a bit more like a second half team than the first half team. And 3, Jake Elliott can still kick field goals really, really well. Starting on defense, well, we held San Francisco to nothing in the first half. Now, all the highlights I saw of the 49ers showed like great throws, great catches, and a few good runs, but I didn't watch the whole game, so I can't really judge how good the rush defense did. But Rodney had a very good heads-up play to get the interception off the tip ball. And Jalen Mills, I think he's probably one of my favorite players on that defense. He probably third favorite behind Fletcher, then Malcolm, and then Jalen. But Jalen, I think he's proven himself to be a worthy cornerback. Because not only did he have a pick six, but he had to work for it. He basically had to run from sideline to sideline to get that ball in the end zone. I saw Fletcher had a sack. Special teams came through. Barnett had the blocked field goal. Now, I say we're a second half team because for the longest time in that first half, we only had 3 points. Off a Jake Elliott 40-yard kick. It wasn't until Carson threw the touchdown pass to Ertz with under 2 minutes left. Now, the pick six did happen in the first half as well, but then we scored like 2 more times in the second half. Carson had the touchdown throw to Alshon, which Alshon had to go up and get that ball. But, Alshon made a great play on that throw, and that's why we brought him here. Then, of course, Blunt force trauma had a touchdown. That's just what he does. Late in the game, give him the ball. He'll rush for you, all that. Offense had a good day, though Carson had an interception that I felt was almost inexcusable. Came in the second half. I forgot who picked it off. But it's not like he was throwing up a 50-50 ball or had to throw it under pressure. He was in the pocket. He had so much time. The offensive line was giving him so much protection. And just do a pick. I say that's inexcusable because a lot of times when I see Carson throwing picks, it's usually because he's being a bit careless and just chunking it up. For example, the Washington game where he chunked one up to Tatori, overthrew him by like about 5-10 yards and threw a pick because of it. or of course, a helmet interception. So, I felt that interception by Carson was almost inexcusable. But he still had a really good day, so I can't really complain. Now let's talk about Jake Elliott. First time I saw him play against Kansas City, he missed that field goal at the end of the half after Zach Ertz tipped the ball to himself and ran all the way down the field. And that could have potentially been a big score in that game. But he picked himself back up. Of course, he hit the 61-yard field goal, but even besides that, I mean, he's been really solid this year. He made one from 40 and 51. Sorry, my filter keeps shaking. Anyway, so Jake Elliott has been really solid. Here's what I see happening. We keep Jake Elliott, and then we send Caleb to Tampa Bay for somebody. Because Tampa Bay probably still needs a kicker. I don't know. I don't follow Tampa Bay. I follow the Eagles. So I'm really glad that we beat the 49ers and beat them bad. And we made them look bad. Because that's what we were supposed to do. Now, I know I said last week, if we won by a good margin, I forgot exactly what I said last week. But I said that this team, I consider this team something special. And you know what? I think they can be something special. I still hold out and keep some skepticism because, like I said, this is Philly. I've seen the heartbreak happen before. Now, I'll say this. We're 7-1. There's more than a reasonable chance to expect the playoffs. I'm expecting us to make the playoffs. But this is pretty much do or die time for this season. Because we're 7-1, but we can still go 7-9. It can happen. We could melt down. If we win 2 more games, if we win 3 more games or 2 more at the minimum, 2 more games and we go 9-7 might get us into the playoffs. 10-6 or 11-5 preferably would definitely get us in. I don't see us going 15-1, but I could definitely see us going something like, I'm predicting a 13-3 at the very best. 13-3 at best, 11-5 at worst. This team has wicked potential. I think we can definitely make a playoff run, have a bye, and then we're 8-1 going to play the Cowboys. Oh, I can't wait! Cowboys week. That's always one of my favorite weeks, just because Eagles are almost guaranteed to be on primetime TV. So that's all I gotta say about the Birds for right now. Good game against San Francisco. I'm proud of them. They came to play. I felt we were pretty sound on all sides of the football. Alright guys, just keep in mind real quick that I'm about to talk somewhat negatively about the Jay Ajayi deal. This was first reactions, fresh after I'd seen it, and at first I was a bit skeptical. Just because I didn't really see what the point of bringing another running back was. Of course, now, after I've looked at other criticisms, or not criticisms, but other critical analysis, I can definitely see what advantages having Ajayi would be. Because, having Corey Clement and LeGarrette Blount go together well enough, adding a star talent like Ajayi, we essentially now, in my opinion, have a triple threat of running backs. And, now I realize that, this could definitely work out since we love to rotate running backs so much. having two established NFL stars and a somewhat rising star in Corey Clement, now I think that this could actually work pretty well. But just keep in mind that my upcoming reaction was before I really looked into the whole thing, into the deal, and saw, what exactly the thought process was going into the deal. So don't get mad if my upcoming reaction is negative. Let's talk about some recent news. So, Eagles picked up Jay Ajayi from Miami. Why? I mean, he's a running back. But I mean, we have LeGarrette Blount and Corey Clement. What did we bring LeGarrette Blount here for? To run the ball and get TDs. And he's done a very good job of that so far. And Corey Clement makes for a really good secondary running back. If Ajayi is here to replace Wendell Smallwood, then by all means bring him in, because Smallwood has not been performing. I'm not the biggest fan of Wendell Smallwood. If Jay Ajayi is here to be that third running back, I mean, with 3 running backs, I don't think that's too bad of an idea. Because it's kind of worked so far with having Clement and Blount. We've had 2, at their best, these are solid running backs. But at their worst, well, Blount at his worst, I haven't really seen Blount at his worst, because if you consider Kansas City his worst game, he didn't even have a carry. Clement, I don't think Clement's a superstar, but he's a competent back. And he'll show up and he'll give you what he's got. And, LeGarrette Blount is LeGarrette Blount. He's a superstar. He can plow through guys, got good speed. We bring him in at the end of the game, just close it out. He's a closer, as we say. If Ajayi is here to replace Wendell Smallwood, then fine. But I'm still kind of iffy about why we need another running back. I'm just kind of wary, because if we're bringing in, more talent, Blount might want to leave after a year and go somewhere else. And I'd prefer if he stayed. I don't know what we're going to do with the Ajayi, but he's here. Let's just all get used to it, I guess. So, did I miss anything? Did I screw anything up? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next week.